Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air, the deadly helicopter crash right into the Hudson River here in New York. At least 6 people killed. The chilling images coming in, the chopper plunging into the frigid waters of the Hudson. Witnesses could see the chopper breaking apart as it came down, the rotor blade appearing to come apart from the helicopter before the crash. On board, the pilot and a family of 5, 2 adults and 3 children. No survivors. Fire and rescue boats racing to the scene. Aaron Katersky on the scene tonight, what he's learned, how old was this helicopter, and it had been flying over Manhattan for 15 minutes before the crash. Also tonight, another aviation scare, 2 passenger planes and the collision at Reagan National Airport outside Washington. 2 American Airlines planes preparing for takeoff, one for New York City, the other for Charleston. 6 members of Congress on board, passengers and pilots describing the boom. Tonight, 24 hours after President Trump and his sudden U-turn on tariffs led to a recovery on Wall Street. Tonight, stocks diving again amid the reality now setting in. The major trade war with China. 145% tariffs now on Chinese goods coming into the U.S. Companies here paying that price and passing much of it on to consumers. And tonight, the new numbers right here. The average family could be paying more than $4,000 extra a year. Tonight, the U.S. State Department revealing 9 U.S. citizens are now among the dead after that roof came crashing down at a packed nightclub. The American ballerina released by Russia tonight. The surprise prisoner swap and who the U.S. is sending back to Russia. Tonight, the LAPD sources who say the wife of the bass player from a popular band fired at an officer. Officers then shooting and wounding her. Tonight, she's now charged with attempted murder. It all happened as police were searching for suspects in a separate case. Tonight, we're tracking severe storms across the South and moving into the Northeast, bringing heavy rain and storms to Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. Lee Goldberg standing by with the forecast. And the Masters now underway tonight, and the miniature golfer, Rory McIlroy's daughter, Poppy, and the putt everyone is talking about. You have to see how this ended.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. We begin tonight with the breaking news, the tragedy here in New York City, a helicopter plunging into the Hudson River, killing all 6 people on board, the pilot and a family of 5 on a tour flight, visiting from Spain, a mother and father and their 3 children. Again, no one survived this. The chilling scene in the waters of the Hudson. The crash happened in the part of the river between Lower Manhattan and Jersey City in New Jersey. Video showing the helicopter spinning and flipping upside down. You can see it's just the fuselage there. The bulk of the helicopter, the rotor blade, appears to come apart from the rest of the aircraft before the crash into the river. Witnesses could see the chopper breaking apart as it was going down, the rotor spinning as it falls, splashing into the water following the fuselage as it came down.
My goodness.
The helicopter then floating to the surface upside down, divers racing into the water to search for the pilot and passengers. And again, there were no survivors. Tonight, the investigation here, how could this happen? The rotor blade coming apart. How old was that helicopter? And we have now learned that the chopper was in the sky over Manhattan for about 15 minutes before it came crashing down. Here's our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, leading us off tonight. He's on the scene.
Tonight, 6 people killed after a helicopter with a family of tourists on board broke apart and plummeted into the Hudson River off New York City. It happened just after 3:15 this afternoon.
Be advised, you do have an aircraft down Holland Tunnel. Please keep your eyes open for anybody in the water.
The tourist chopper going down on the Hudson between Lower Manhattan and Jersey City. This video showing the chopper splashing down, the rotor blades still spinning in the air before it lands on the water. Fire rescue boats and the Coast Guard racing to the spot where it went down. The chopper fuselage upside down. The rough, choppy water just 49 degrees. Law enforcement officials tell ABC News the helicopter was carrying a family, 2 adults and 3 children, tourists from Spain, in addition to 1 pilot.
I saw the helicopter. It was just coming down in that 45 angle, and they went straight into the water. It was a big splash.
Witnesses watching in horror.
It sounded like a sonic boom on my right. So I look up, and literally I just see a helicopter splitting in 2 with the rotor flying off in the sky. It was going so fast and just went straight into the water, and like nothing came up afterwards. It must have just sunk.
And I heard a loud snap, or like a kind of sound barrier breaking sound, and I could see a helicopter falling on its side and splashing the water right next to that red barge over there. And then the rotor on the top fell off as well and then hit the water.
If your rotor system disintegrates, goes away, stops, blows up, or loses a blade, your whole ability to fly is 100% compromised at that point, and you're simply going to go down. It's very seldom that we have a helicopter crash that resulted from a disintegration of the lift system. That's what this begins to sound like, and it's very rare.
FAA records show the helicopter is 21 years old. Flight radar 24 showing the chopper was in the air over Manhattan for about 15 minutes before it broke apart. It was the helicopter's 6th flight of the day.
So let's bring in Aaron Katersky. He's on the scene for us tonight. And Aaron, you reported on the family of 5 on board. These were tourists visiting the U.S. on a flight over the city. The pilot. Do authorities think they had any chance here as rescuers dove into the water late today trying to save them?
And those divers told us, David, they did everything they could. But eyewitnesses said the helicopter came down very fast. The Hudson River is frigid. Rescue boats sped toward the wreckage site, but by the time they got there, they saw the helicopter had come down upside down, David.
Just a horrible toll there today. And you also reported that that tour helicopter was actually flying over Manhattan, over New York City for about 15 minutes before this crash. Obviously, the crash in itself is awful, but authorities also know this could have happened, right over the city.
Yeah, David, these helicopter tourist flights are quite common. This particular Bell 206 was on its 6th run of the day. A similar tourist helicopter actually crashed into the Hudson River in 2018, and ever since, there's been a debate about how many of these flights there are over such a busy corridor in the city, David.
Our chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katersky, on the scene of this deadly chopper crash tonight. Aaron, thank you. Now to that other aviation scare, the collision at Reagan National Airport outside Washington. 2 American Airlines passenger planes preparing for takeoff for New York City and Charleston. 6 members of Congress on board, passengers and pilots describing the boom. Here's Trevor Ault.
Tonight, a taxiway collision at Reagan National Airport. 2 American Airlines planes, one clipping the other, with 6 members of Congress on board.
You think you hit the Embraer or the Airbus?
It might have been the Embraer. We just heard a loud, like a boom, right as we took, like a thunk before we took the runway.
Both flights were preparing to take off. One passenger jet bound for Charleston, South Carolina, heading to the runway when its wingtip clipped the wing of a New York City-bound passenger jet as it waited on the taxiway.
We can see a piece of a winglet on the ground behind the right wing of the Embraer.
New York Congresswoman Grace Meng could feel the impact.
While we were sitting there, we suddenly felt some shaking. Some of the passengers said that they literally saw it clip the plane and a little piece fell off. As you can see in the back, they're fixing it right now.
It follows a string of alarming incidents at Reagan Airport. That deadly January collision between an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk helicopter that killed 67 people. And just days ago, an incredibly close call, a Delta plane taking off, its cockpit alarms going off because Air Force jets were just seconds away from a possible collision.
And David, no one was injured in today's collision, but now yet another investigation is underway at Reagan National Airport. David?
All right, Trevor Ault reporting tonight. Trevor, thank you. The other major story tonight, the economy, stocks taking another dive on Wall Street today, 24 hours after President Trump's sudden U-turn on tariffs and that recovery yesterday. Today, the reality of this major trade war with China setting in. The Dow closing down more than 1,000 points, the S&P 500 down 188 points, the NASDAQ down 737 points, more than 4%. Tonight, investors rattled amid this ongoing trade war with China. The tariffs on Chinese goods coming into the U.S. now at 145%. U.S. companies paying those tariffs and then passing costs on to consumers. And tonight here, you'll see one shopper's receipt with a line for how much they're now paying extra because of the tariffs. Here's our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott, from the White House tonight.
One day after markets rallied amid news President Trump had paused many of his sweeping tariffs, tonight Wall Street taking another dive as reality sets in. America's trade war with China is only getting worse. Yesterday, Trump declared he was raising the tax on imported products from China to 125%. Today, the White House clarifying that's on top of another tariff the president imposed on China back in February. The actual tariff now a staggering 145% on all Chinese goods coming into the United States. A tax that economists warn is paid by American businesses, who then pass the cost along to consumers by raising prices. The Dow plunging, at one time today, down 2,180 points. before closing 1,014 points down. The president sounding eager to negotiate a deal with China, but publicly at least, China not budging.
Has President Xi reached out at all since the tariff?
Well, I don't want to say who's reached out. I just say that I think it's going to work out, hopefully well.
China accuses the White House of bullying, saying they won't be blackmailed. Today, they announced they're restricting imports of Hollywood movies to their country. Caught in the middle, American families worried about rising prices. By one estimate, President Trump's tariffs will cost households an average of an additional $4,700 a year. The president acknowledges the pain, today calling it a transition cost.
There'll be a transition cost and transition problems, but in the end, it's going to be a beautiful thing.
Already, consumers are feeling the effects. One shopper for athletic wear spotting something different on an invoice from a recent order. A new line that says tariff surcharge, $16.62. Small businesses are feeling it too.
There's multiple levels of impact.
Rita Pineras owns child play toys and books in Washington, D.C.
About 80 to 90% of all toys are manufactured overseas. So we're going to definitely see increases.
I asked her for an example of just how much the president's tariffs will force her to raise prices.
Take Douglas, which is manufactured in China. Right now, the cost of it is $27.99. So it's going to be more than double the price. So I think that is about
more than $60.
$60.
China, just one of the countries whose products are facing tariffs. President Trump has put a 90-day pause on sweeping tariffs against 85 other countries as his team now tries to negotiate new trade deals with them. ABC's Karen Travers asking what happens when that time is up.
Mr. President, if you aren't able to reach the deals that you want to see at the end of the 90 days, will you put those higher tariffs in place or will you extend?
Well, that's what would happen. I mean, if we can't make the deal that we want to make or we have to make or that's, good for both parties, it's got to be good for both parties. And then we go back to where we were.
Go back to the numbers that you announced last week.
I think so.
You wouldn't extend the pause?
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens at that time.
And David, that moment right there underscores the reason why many economists say the markets are so volatile. The president was asked directly if he would extend that 90-day pause on tariffs for most of America's trading partners if a deal is not made. The president would not give a firm answer either way. It's that kind of uncertainty that has Wall Street on edge, David.
The market's certainly rattled. Rachel Scott at the White House. Rachel, thank you. Tonight, the U.S. State Department is now reporting 9 U.S. citizens are now among the dead in that catastrophic roof collapse in the Dominican Republic. Victor Akendo on the scene again tonight.
With the death toll surging in Santo Domingo, tonight the State Department confirming 9 U.S. citizens are among the 221 people killed when the roof of a packed nightclub collapsed. The search for bodies ending today.
This is the entrance to the Jet Set nightclub. At maximum capacity, it can hold up to 1,000 people.
Maria Luisa Taveras and her family waiting in agony for any update on her missing sister, Luisa Maria.
What did she like to do?
My sister is a happy person. She worked hard, telling me, overcome with emotion. I hope that she is fine. That iconic club filled with concert goers early Tuesday when witnesses say dust started falling from the ceiling into people's drinks. Video circulating online showing a man pointing at the ceiling as legendary merengue singer Ruby Perez performed on stage. Moments later, that roof caving in, plunging the club into darkness.
David, now that the recovery operation has ended, authorities are shifting to the investigation to determine what caused this catastrophic collapse. David.
Victor Akendo reporting again tonight for us. Victor, thank you. Tonight, the American ballerina released by Russia amid a surprise prisoner swap. She was arrested for donating $52 to Ukraine. And tonight, who the U.S. is now sending back to Russia in exchange. Here's James Longman.
This former American ballerina was facing 12 years in a Russian penal colony for donating just $52 to a charity for Ukraine. But tonight, in a surprise prisoner swap, Ksenia Karolina is free. Karolina was arrested while visiting family in Russia in February last year. The dual US-Russian citizen found herself sitting in that glass defendant's cage multiple times.
They released the young ballerina. We hope that we're going to be able to make a deal relatively soon with Russia and Ukraine to stop the fighting.
The late-night swap in Abu Dhabi was for this man, Arthur Petrov, who's been in U.S. custody since 2023, accused of much more serious crimes, setting up fake companies to buy highly sensitive U.S. electronic components for use by the Russian military in Ukraine.
David, this is another sign of warming relations with the Kremlin. Petrov may have been accused of some incredibly serious crimes, but the Trump administration is clearly hoping that it might help Vladimir Putin make that deal and stop the war in Ukraine. David?
Our chief international correspondent, James Longman. James, thanks. Back here in the U.S. tonight, LAPD sources this evening now saying the wife of the bass player from the popular band Weezer fired at an officer. The officer shot and wounded her. She's now charged with attempted murder, and it all happened amid a wild scene as police were actually searching for suspects in a separate hit-and-run case. Matt Gutman explains.
Tonight, a wild manhunt for suspects following a freeway crash in Los Angeles with a bizarre ending. Police shooting and injuring the wife of a rock star after sources say she shot at the LAPD.
We got units that are responding to a downed victim.
The chaos unfolding around 3 p.m. Tuesday after that suspected hit and run. Officers say they were pursuing multiple suspects on foot into a residential neighborhood. One suspect trying to blend in, allegedly jumping into a yard, stripping down to his boxers and casually watering plants. And in the middle of this chase, police encountering someone completely separate. The wife of Grammy Award-winning bassist Scott Schreiner from the band Weezer. Jillian Schreiner, seen here in an Instagram photo, standing in her own backyard, but it turns out police say she was armed with a handgun.
We're just not sure of the circumstances, what led up to exactly her coming out.
The LAPD says officers repeatedly ordered her to drop the gun. She refused. And tonight, law enforcement sources telling ABC News that video evidence shows she fired her weapon at LAPD officers. And they say they returned fire. Schreiner, who's an author, was hit in the shoulder, arrested, and transported to the hospital with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Police say a 9mm handgun and a shell casing were recovered at the scene. Jillian Schreiner has been charged with attempted murder. She's been released on bail. Her husband, Scott, who is that bassist for the band Weezer, says he still plans to perform with his band this weekend at Coachella, David.
All right, Matt Gutman in Los Angeles tonight. Matt, thank you. And as we're on the air here in the West tonight, the breaking headline, the Supreme Court now ordering the Trump administration to arrange for the return of a Maryland man wrongly sent to a prison in El Salvador. Kilmer Abrego Garcia, a father and husband, was swept up accused of being a gang member. The High Court now ordering the government to facilitate his release from custody and to ensure his case is handled with due process. When we come back here tonight, we're tracking severe storms. Philadelphia, New York, and Boston included. Lee Goldberg times it out. And look at this, police chasing a stolen U-Haul. The couple allegedly kidnapped. You can actually hear them banging from inside the U-Haul in a moment. Tonight, we're tracking those severe storms from the south right into the northeast. Let's get right to Lee Goldberg. Lee?
David, severe weather hitting flooded areas tonight. We had a confirmed tornado over southern Indiana. Trees knocked down, roofs blown off. We have severe thunderstorm watches that'll extend until about 9 o'clock. It's expanded down to Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. That rain is pushing toward the east coast. It's even some snow in high elevations of the northeast. The steadiest rain Friday night into part of Saturday. We could see 1 to 2 inches from Richmond all the way up to D.C., probably an inch here in New York. And it's not just rain. 3 to 6 inches of snow from upstate New York into New England. Finally, some spring warmth early next week. David?
All right, Lee Goldberg back with us. Thank you. When we come back, police chasing that stolen U-Haul and the stunning surprise, the couple banging from inside. And Rory McIlroy's 4-year-old and her putt. You have to see it. To the index, police chasing a stolen U-Haul in Santa Fe, New Mexico. When it finally stopped, officers could hear a couple banging and yelling for help from inside the back of that U-Haul. That's them pounding. The suspect was then arrested. Authorities say the couple had rented the U-Haul. They were in the back when it was stolen. When we come back here tonight, Rory McIlroy's 4-year-old daughter and the putt that everyone's talking about. You'll see it. Finally tonight here in Augusta, Georgia, the 4-year-old Master. Since 1960, it's been tradition, kicking off the Masters with what's called the Par 3 contest, a sort of family affair.
A lot of rolling down the hills.
The pro golfers inviting family members to walk the course with them, caddy for them, even swing for them.
Poppy and Dad racing up 7.
And Masters favorite Rory McIlroy racing his 4-year-old daughter Poppy to the green. And watch this. The putt everyone is now talking about. Poppy, who was just 4 on the 9th hole there, attempting a difficult 25-foot putt downhill. And she makes it. The crowd cheering, hugging Dad, then running right into her mother Erica's arms. Rory McIlroy calling the contest always one of the best days of the year. Tonight, the golf champ, realizing it's his daughter who's the star. Poppy, can you help me with my swing? You can see the first rounds of the Masters on ESPN. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.